Breaking news coming out that the United States is gearing up for homeland defense. Now, this is coming as Russia and Chinese warships are in the Pacific. Now, this came out yesterday. So in addition to all the stuff I've been sharing with you about the threats against Alaska, we're now hearing, in addition to that, they are moving towards Alaska by sea. So yesterday I shared with you all of the stuff that was coming by air. Take a look at the articles that we saw. Russian bomber, and they were concerned because this was a potential nuclear bomber. A Russian bomber, fighter aircrafts detected in Alaska defense zone, NORAD says. So they said that they were very upset with what was unfolding as a result of these bombers that were flying by, several jets, military jets going by. Take a look at this. Russian military planes detected off Alaskan coast after Army deploys troops to the region. Now, I know a lot of people had said, what's the big deal? Like, they run these drills all the time. Well, as you can see, Army deploys troops to the region. The United States did not take this lightly. Very concerned with this response, this reaction coming out from Russia and China, saying this was not planned. And even though the United States came out and said, this is not a threat, what we saw unfold was troops deployed. We saw them getting things ready and in place as a major concern of what was unfolding in Alaska, as we're hearing that U.S. soil here is potentially at risk. Now, we've heard these warnings coming out from Ukraine. Actually, as I speak right now, live, September 25th, 2024, right now at the UN, we're hearing that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning that this is just the first phase of Russia's attack on the entire world. And now we're seeing these threats coming to the U.S., to our soil, as they are saying that there are all of these threats coming to Alaska. So like I said, also, they're concerned because we saw Russian state TV discussing options for seizing Alaska, and they said, oh, these were jokes. They were saying we're going to take it back. But the United States not laughing at this, taking these threats very seriously. As I said, we had seen the United States deploy troops to the region in Alaska after we saw those planes go by. We also received word that one of those planes was an actual bomber. And so they said these are war game tests in our area off of our coast in Alaska. That was a potential nuclear bomber. It had the capabilities of doing so, that was flying by Alaska. And also coming out, as I'm sharing with you today, the news that not only by air but by sea, the U.S. is currently gearing up for homeland defense. The United States preparing to defend our soil against attacks from not only Russia, but China. We're hearing the two are working and coordinating together by air and now also by sea as the warships reach the Pacific. So I'm going to be sharing with you the latest on this, get you the latest information so you know exactly what is going on. And as always, these articles are cited, linked in the description. I do everything like a book report, so that way you can go ahead, click it, read it for yourself, see the latest that is going on. Now, do me a favor. If you appreciate that, please take a second and hit that like button for me. I will keep you up to speed on everything. When you hit that like button, help spread this out further so more people can get the latest updates. I see we got about 1,044 people on with me live at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, September the 25th. About 200 likes. If I could get half the room to hit the like button, that really helps the channel a ton, spreads this out further. Thank you so much. In addition to that, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? Just takes a second. Make sure you're staying subscribed. YouTube settings, we think, have been updated. People getting unsubscribed from my channel, saying that they are no longer subscribed. They don't know what happened. So make sure you stay subscribed and turn on the notification bell to all so you can get the breaking news updates as it's unfolding. And you guys, there is a lot going on. Gary Shreve, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, good morning, Steve. Alaska here. They will have same success here as in Ukraine. Not much. Gary, let me know in the comments as well. Now, I read articles this morning saying that sirens were sounding in parts of Alaska with concern of the close calls. Now, Russia and China saying that they did not enter into U.S. territory, that they are in neutral waters in the Arctic. But I read some articles saying that parts of Alaska near the coasts where these warships and planes were heading, that there were sirens actually sounding in the last 24 hours. That they were saying this is no joke. This is not a drill. This is major concern right now for what's going on. Gary, let me know in the comments if you saw any of that, or you're seeing it in the news in Alaska. Let me know your thoughts. But I'm going to be sharing with you guys the latest on this. And again, do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet, please take a second, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date. These articles are going to be linked in the description below, so that way you can see them for yourself. And like I said, I actually shared with you, I think it was yesterday, when we had heard that bomber was coming out, and I think it was the Pentagon was saying, we don't believe this is a major threat at this time. We're not concerned. They're running drills. Yet at the same time, we're seeing them launch tons of troops in that direction, preparing, and articles coming out saying, even though they're saying that to not cause fear and panic, the U.S. is preparing for homeland defense at this time in Alaska. So let me go ahead and share with you guys the latest on this so you can see exactly what is going on. So let's go ahead and dive right in and see what is unfolding here. So this article coming out from Newsweek, like I said, actually came out yesterday on this. Didn't see the warships heading in the direction, but I did see all of the air defense coming out, and Alaska was trending everywhere. Troops moving towards Alaska. U.S. gears up for homeland defense as Russia and Chinese warships reach the Pacific. And there is video footage coming out here of various ships in the Pacific from China. Now, a lot of the threats we're hearing are coming from Russia, but China is working hand in hand with Russia right now. That alliance growing stronger. A Russian-Chinese flotilla sailed toward the northern Pacific on Monday, while the United States deployed 2 warships for homeland defense operations to protect Alaska. So they have the first line right now. The United States taking this very seriously, sending over defense vessels as we are seeing this flotilla coming from Russia and China towards the United States in Alaska. According to the Japanese Defense Ministry, a total of 9 Russian and Chinese warships were transiting La Perouse Strait, a designated international waterway known as the Soyuz Strait, eastward from Sea of Japan to the Sea of Okhotsk, from Sunday to Monday. So we were seeing them travel. The Russian-Chinese naval formation would reach the wider northern Pacific Ocean by sailing further to the east and passing through Russia's Kirk Islands. The warships would also arrive near the Aleutian Islands of Alaska if they were on a northeastward voyage. And you can see the map of it right here. There is Japan, there are those areas, and they're saying that they were heading in the direction of Alaska. And that is why there was major concern coming out from the United States. Now, like I said, the United States, the Pentagon, they're vocalizing these are regular drills, no need for concern. Yet at the same time, we are seeing them deploying troops, sending warships, sending planes, trying to intercept what was bombers yesterday. And also we are hearing that potentially alarms sounding off in various regions of Alaska. Now, again, that particular part, I'm not 100% sure. I just wanted to see. We actually have some people on the channel live with us right now from Alaska saying they're ready. Now, the joint naval sailing by Russia and China came as the U.S. Navy deployed cruiser USS Lake Erie and destroyer USS Sterett to the northern Pacific and the Aleutian Islands. So make no mistake, I know a lot of people saying these are just drills. Well, the United States is deploying naval fleets for homeland defense and protection. Now, respectively, while the USS Army sent 3 units to the remote Shemaya Island of the archipelago. Now, the Lake Erie, which is home ported in San Diego, California, has conducted what the Navy called homeland defense operations in the northern Pacific Ocean since September 18th. It was still underway in the area as of Sunday, according to photos released by the service. And you can see here is a photo of the U.S. Navy cruiser USS Lake Erie operates in the northern Pacific. This was on September 22nd. It says a Russian-Chinese flotilla sailed toward the northern Pacific on the 22nd while near the United States. Now, the San Diego-based Sterett departed on September 2nd to patrol the Bering Sea, according to Politico. It moored in Dutch Harbor on Amaknek Island of the Aleutian Archipelago on September 13th and the 18th during its homeland defense operations in the area. The U.S. North Command, which is responsible for Homeland Defense, confirmed to Politico in a statement that the Sterret was sent to support the command's maritime Homeland Defense mission in response to the known Russian exercises that were taking place in the region. And here's a look at the U.S. Navy destroyer USS Sterret. You can see the photo of it. They're saying that these are being deployed in the area as defense. The Northern Interaction 2024, an exercise held by China in the Sea of Japan and the Sea of Okhotsk, began its second phase. The Chinese Navy and the Russian Defense Ministry announced on Saturday that the first stage of the drill was held from September 11th to September 15th. The Chinese warships that took part in the exercise were destroyers, replenished ships, according to the Japanese Defense Ministry and the Chinese state military. They were under the Chinese military's Northern Theater Command. The Russian military also sent 4 warships under the command of the country's Pacific Fleet for the exercise. They were destroyers Admiral Panteleyev and Admiral Tributs, as well as corvettes MPK-107 and MPK-82, the Russian Pacific Fleet revealed on Saturday. The 8 warships left a major port in Russia's Far East region for exercises. Meanwhile, a 5th Chinese naval fleet, Type 815A electronic surveillance ship, was also spotted by the Japanese military underway in La Perouse Strait. The Chinese Defense Ministry announced on September 9th that its warships would conduct the 5th Joint Patrol in the Pacific Ocean and their Russian counterparts since 2021. The last patrol between the two was in July in the Western Pacific Ocean. In August of 2023, a total of 11 Russian and Chinese warships approached the Aleutian Islands during the combined naval patrol in the surrounding international waters. They were tracked by 4 American destroyers and the P-8 Poseidon maritime as well. So you guys, this has unfolded over the last couple of days. They're sending fleets over there. And again, they're saying just drills, no need for alarm. Yet at the same time, we're hearing that there are sirens sounding, and there's also major concern and articles coming out as, take a look at this, Russian bomber fighter aircraft detected in Alaska Defense Zone, NORAD says. The Russian activity is, quote, not seen as a threat, the commander says, but what they're saying and what they're doing in response to this are 2 different things. As I mentioned to you yesterday, Russian military planes detected off the Alaskan coast after Army deploys troops to the region. So if this was just drills, if this was no threat, why is it that the United States is sending over additional support and defenses to help us in the region? So that is the concern right now. And that is also fueled by what is coming out from Russian state TV, propaganda coming out. Take a look at this. Russian state TV discusses the options for seizing Alaska. Now, this coming as in the background, we have actually right now, at this very moment, Volodymyr Zelensky and the UN saying that Ukraine is just phase 1 of Russia's planned takeover, and they will be coming for other NATO nations. Now, when you think of that, typically a lot of people might think, oh, other nations in Europe, you know, the various nations of NATO, there's 35. Wouldn't really think, you know, the United States, which is the primary one for NATO. But here we see them talking about how they would like to take back Alaska, saying that it actually needs to come back to the motherland, to the homeland. Right now, it feels like there's some serious threats going on for the United States. And this coming while also we have a ton of global conflict with other nations. Now, if you missed it, we've heard that there's conflict where Israel and all of those other groups, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, those proxy groups are at war, funded by Iran. We're now hearing that there is assassinations planned for Donald Trump from various groups from Iran, and there was an update on that just last night. In addition to that, we have the conflict going on with Russia and Ukraine, and then China is in the middle of this as well. So things are definitely intensifying. Last night as well, we heard that Hezbollah launched a ballistic missile at Tel Aviv. They said that that was the first time something like that has taken place. However, it did not land. We're hearing it was intercepted, but they said that is considered a major escalation, and for them to be launching that type of missile over into Israel. So things have definitely intensified, and we have concerns here in the United States. We've got our own concerns right now. So a lot going on with all of this taking place. Russian state TV discussing this. We're seeing by air, we're seeing by sea, the threats coming to the United States for Alaska, and also United States deploying additional troops, yet at the same time vocalizing the Russian activity is not seen as a threat. Let me know your thoughts. Are you buying it? Do you think that this is not a threat, or do you think it is? If you think that this is not a threat, put a 2. If you think this is a threat, put a 1. If you think that this is a threat, as they are coming near the area by land and by sea, getting dangerously close, hearing that there potentially could be alarms sounding, and also we're seeing the United States, even though they're saying, oh, there's no need for concern, there's no need for alarm, deploying more and more troops to the region. And I just read for you, they dispatched those Navy vessels as well. So by ocean, they are sending defenses, and also we're seeing by air. They are watching everything that is going on right now. And this coming as also, keep in mind, why is this unfolding? Why is there a major concern about this? If this is a typical drill that unfolds all the time, what is different about this time right now in 2024? Well, it could be that we literally just had Russia not too long ago say that the entire essence of the war with Ukraine is about to change, because they're saying the United States, NATO, Europe, they're about to allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles into Russia, and Russia has vocalized, if you allow this to happen, we will consider it that we are in direct attack and war with the United States, NATO, with Europe. So right now, and one of the things that a lot of people, I think, understand is that Russian President Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, some of our adversaries are extremely strategic. So they might be saying, hey, we see what is coming here with the use of long-range missiles against Russia coming from Ukraine, and the United States and NATO is allowing this. All right, so let us begin preparing what our retaliation will be against them for allowing this. And so right now, it looks like Russia and China together are eyeing Alaska. So that is why it is a major concern right now, because like I said, these drills happen very often, but why the alarm and concern at this time right now in 2024? It is because this is not a typical situation. In the backdrop, in the background, there is a lot of tension unfolding right now amongst our nation and others. So these typical drills, if they are not done correctly, or not the norm, there is some major alarms that sound, just like we saw when that Russian fleet went down to Cuba, and then we saw one of them veer off and just kind of hang out over off of the coast of Florida. And that spooked the United States quite a bit. We saw a lot of response from that. Just veered off on its own and kind of hung out off of the coast of Florida. And that was a nuclear-capable vessel as well. Now, Russia and Cuba both claiming there's nothing to be worried about. No weapons on there, no nuclear weapons at all. But if there was, would they really tell us? So the United States definitely spooked by that. And now also what has been unfolding the past couple of days with all of these drills simultaneously happening in the Pacific and over by the Arctic, alarms sounding. Right now, it is not your typical scenario. There is so many tensions all over. This is very concerning to the United States. So like I said, this unfolding over the last 24 hours. Elaine Horner, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Thank you for that generosity. I appreciate that a ton. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything. Thank you so much for that support. But like I said, I will keep you guys up to speed because things are definitely intensifying, very concerning. I see all the ones still pouring in, people saying this is a threat. This is not a normal scenario right here. So we will see And in addition to that, if you missed it yesterday, also, I shared with you, Russia had a failed nuclear test that they did. They were testing ICBMs, and they said it was a disaster. It was a failure. You can actually see from space the crater of the failed tests launch that they did. So Russia has the #1 nuclear force on Earth, followed very closely by the United States, but they're saying that their testing, it has not been going well. But it also raises the question again, why are they testing these weapons right now? And they're also running these drills so close to the United States. Tensions are high right now, and all of this, it is adding to the intensity with World War III being spoke of quite frequently, and nuclear weapons as well. Now, in addition to that, and I need to research this before I report on it, I also saw this morning, so a lot of stuff coming out in the last 24 hours, you guys. Today's September the 25th, 2024. It's 9:47 a.m. Central Standard Time. I saw China is doing ICBM testing as well. And like I said last night, that ballistic missile being launched from Lebanon towards Israel, intercepted. But all the nuclear stuff right now, it is going on. All the bombs, all the buildup, all the tensions, things are not slowing down. They are definitely speeding up. So a lot of people very concerned with all that is unfolding right now, because it seems like it is ramping up. And let me know your thoughts, you guys. We've got elections right around the corner. And I know a lot of people saying World War III is not about to begin. It has already started. And that when they write the history books, they're going to say that World War III already started from the time that we are in right now. Let me know your thoughts on this, you guys, because if there is an official announcement or there are attacks, and like I said, we're starting to see these threats, we're starting to see bombers, we're starting to see warships doing all these drills and maneuvering around. There's all these cyber attacks that are like the pre-war elements, as they're saying that they're beginning to prepare for their attacks and then hit critical infrastructure systems of the United States and all of these other nations. They're saying that this is the prelude to all-out war. When is this going to hit? And if it hits, is this going to hit before elections? Is this going to disrupt U.S. elections? Now, we've already received word in the last, I think, 48 hours as well coming out that Russia, China, I think it was Iran, several other nations are using AI to interfere and manipulate with the U.S. elections as well. So right now, things are ramping up. And we've got these threats coming to our homeland in the United States, which I feel like a lot of people have felt like, no, that will never happen. Who would have the audacity, the boldness to try to come against the U.S.? Well, we're hearing that it sounds like the framework is being laid at this time, the plans, the strategic layout for how it is they want to do this. And this has been years and years in the making. Things are definitely intensifying. Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think that something is going to pop off before elections that could interfere with elections? If you think so, put a 3 in the comments for World War III. If you think no, put a 4. If you think that, maybe something might happen here, but it'll happen after elections, put a 4. If you think something's going to happen and it's going to happen now, put a 3. I'd be curious to see people's thoughts. But it definitely feels like just recently now, things are starting to ramp up with these threats. And like I said, if you're in Alaska, let us know in the comments. I read, and I'm not sure, I haven't been able to verify, that sirens were going off yesterday in warnings for the drills that were taking place. And like I said, I saw yesterday the aircrafts that were flying by, and I saw that there was a potential nuclear bomber that was flying through, and the United States was sending troops over. But I just saw this morning, in addition to that, by sea as well, we're seeing these naval fleets making their way towards Alaska. Man of Steel, $5 super chat. People think that this country can't be invaded. They are delusional. Yeah, I wonder if it's, the United States built up its power so quickly and was so strong and ahead of all the other nations. We really kind of felt like there was no threat, no risk. And it's been like that for so long that I wonder if we've kind of become complacent. And maybe other nations are aware of that the United States is sitting on its laurels, just kind of feeling like, hey, we're in charge. And while we're kind of in this lackadaisical mode, the other nations are saying, let's strategically plan how we can take them out. Let's actually unify and come together. Our adversaries are unifying. China and Russia, Iran, North Korea, all of these nations coming together and saying, let's coordinate everything simultaneously so that way we can essentially take out and dethrone the United States. Because we're the #1 world economic power and we're the #2 nuclear power on Earth. But with the combination of all of these nations coming together against us, we're hearing it's concerning. And that's actually why just this year we heard that Biden has changed the U.S.'s nuclear strategic plans. So everything has changed. And as a result of that, we heard that China came out and was very upset, basically condemning the United States for this move, saying the greatest nuclear threat to the world is not China or Russia, it's the U.S. China coming out and rebuking the U.S. for this move. But what came out was that this unfolded back in March, and then I think it was in August when it was announced, and then there was a whole lot of media and attention around it. People were very upset. And what they said was Biden, the administration, the United States, our defenses have said, at the rate at which these other nations are going and the speed compared to the speed of the United States has got to do something. We have got to do something. We cannot stay on this same trajectory. Otherwise, we're going to fall behind. And all these other nations combined, they're going to be able to have a lot more weight in the game as far as military or nuclear powers go. The United States needs to change its stance. So that has unfolded this year, 2024. And now a lot of stuff ramping up right now. So things are definitely getting intense, you guys. Now, do me a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button. I see we've got 3,000 people live with me in the room. Man of Steel says, our woke country will be our downfall. Yeah, and I see a lot of people pouring in those threes saying that they believe that something could be popping off here before elections. I know a lot of people want to see a change of hands, feeling like Donald Trump would do a much better job than the current administration. If you believe that, put a 45 in the comments, as I know a lot of people were saying that they felt that Donald Trump will come in and bring peace to the regions, and we had actually heard that as well. Now, if you don't think that, if you think Kamala Harris would do a better job, put 47, as those are the two, presidential candidates. But a lot of people put those three, saying they don't even think that we're going to have elections. They're saying that they think that something's going to pop off before then, and that would potentially stop the elections from unfolding here, which is still a possibility. But, what we had heard was Donald Trump in the debates, he had said that on day one, when I am president-elect, he said, before I'm even in the office, I'm going to be putting a stop to what is unfolding with Russia and Ukraine. He said, and I'll do it in a day. And I think a lot of people heard that and they said, okay, this is, over-promising, highly unlikely, all of these various things. Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, they did not think that. Literally within 48 hours, both of them responded to the Biden-Trump debate and said, Donald Trump, if you have a way to end this war, tell us now. We want to know, because we take what you're saying very seriously. This was the response from two presidents of other nations when Donald Trump said that he would end the war, saying, let us know what you have planned because we are listening. A lot of people saying, how's he going to do it? I've mentioned this several times here on the channel. They say that Donald Trump is a businessman. Follow the money. They're saying that right now, the United States, NATO, we are pouring in all these funds into Ukraine. Russia condemning the United States. We saw that Tucker Carlson interview with Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin said to Tucker Carlson, why is the United States pouring all of its money into Ukraine? He was like, when the United States has got its own problems, open borders, economy issues, all of these things, why don't you stop pouring money into Ukraine? And then when you do that, the war will be over in 2 weeks. Ukraine won't have the funding to be able to continue on. And as a result, within 2 weeks, they will need to negotiate and this war will be over. Stop the senseless violence, said Russian President Vladimir Putin. Of course, wanting to sway the American people towards that so that way he could have his way in the war. And he had mentioned that on there. And a lot of people kind of said that resonated with them. Well, it's not one-sided. Turns out that's also the case with Russia. Russia does not have the financial means by which to be able to continue this war on either. They are actually in the same economic situation with Ukraine, where they will not be able to sustain without additional funding pouring in to their nation to help them continue war. And who is that nation? It's China. So what people are saying they think that Trump is alluding to here is that on day one, if he is president-elect, he will get on the phone with Xi Jinping, have a discussion regarding how they can stop funneling in the money to Russia and Ukraine, turn off those spigots of funding so that way both sides will have to end the war, and it will end right away. So a lot of people saying that what Trump said was actually spot on the money. No pun intended, because literally it's follow the trail of money. You cannot sustain war without the finances. And so they are saying if they could do that, they could end the conflict with Russia and Ukraine. And that would be one conflict stopped. And that would also kind of stop a leak for the United States in all of these funds that are pouring out for war. So that would be one issue addressed. So I still see the 45s pouring in, people saying that they think that Donald Trump would do a better job at taking care of things. And I'm still seeing threes coming in as well, as people are saying that they think if something is going to pop off here very soon, World War III, it is very possible that it could happen within, I think it's the next 45 days, next 40 days before elections coming on November 5th. Things are intensifying, and we have got these threats here in our homeland. And again, I'll just recap very quickly because I see we've got more people pouring in with the news coming in of these threats to U.S. soil. We've got 3,354 people live with me in the room at 9:58 a.m. It's almost 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, September the 25th. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet and you appreciate the updates, please take a second, hit that like button for me. Helps spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. But let me share with you the headlines that were coming out that I'm reporting on this morning. And that is that yesterday, in addition to I shared with you about the aircrafts flying over, we're hearing the United States is gearing up by sea as well to defend the homeland, is the quote. Homeland defense is getting set in place for the United States as we are seeing threats from Russia and Chinese warships in the Pacific. Now, this comes in addition to what I shared with you yesterday, that Russian bombers, fighters, aircrafts were detected near Alaska in the defense zone. NORAD says Russian activity is, quote, not seen as a threat, the commander said, for the United States. And I shared that with you yesterday as well. They said, not a concern, no worry. Yet at the same time, we were hearing reports coming out that they are sending over troops, defenses by land and sea. More troops are heading over there, and also hearing that sirens were sounding off in Alaska for the potential threat as well. Russian military planes detected off of Alaskan coast after Army deploys troops to the region. And also, this comes, as I mentioned, we have a lot of conflict going on. So this is a very unique time. Even though they run these drills all the time, it's in the backdrop of potential war. Russian state TV discussing the option for seizing Alaska back. And also, Russian President Vladimir Putin coming out and saying the entire essence of our war with Ukraine could be changing here, where we will have to change and pivot accordingly if we see the threat coming from the United States and NATO, if they allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles to strike inside of Russian territory. And we're hearing that we are going that route. So they are saying they are very concerned right now, and things are escalating. Man of Steel, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, we are already being invaded. We open the door and let them in. They're coming in every single day. Thank you for that $5 super chat. And yes, I agree with you. If you have not seen the charts on the illegal immigration pouring into the United States over the past 4 years, it's incredible. It is, the charts just skyrocket. They just like towers over the past several years of all the people pouring in from the southern border. Pan Ronnie, $5 super chat. I'm in Alaska's Anchorage near 2 military bases. No increased aircraft, no sirens. Sirens of Aleutian chain, perhaps. Okay, so no sirens. Sirens in the Aleutian chain, perhaps. Okay, thank you for letting us know. So Anchorage, we are hearing that that was not the case. Yeah, and you know, Alaska is a pretty big place. Thank you for verifying that for me. And like I said, I'm hearing reports that there was some sirens in the last 24 hours. Not really sure exactly the locations. Aleutian chain, he's saying perhaps, which is what was mentioned in the articles. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I always want to make sure that everybody gets the most accurate, updated information. And also, as you guys know, here on the channel, I try to cite all the sources, let you know exactly what's going on. So these are linked in the description below for you, so that way you can click on them and see them for yourself as well, with the updates that are coming out. So we will see what unfolds here. And like I said, a lot coming out. If you missed it, I'm going to cover some more here in a little bit in separate videos. But we heard that there was more information coming out about Iran planning assassinations on Trump. We've also heard that Kamala Harris, last night, one of the offices in Arizona received shots fired. So I got to find out some more information regarding that ballistic missile being shot into Israel towards Tel Aviv overnight from Hezbollah. So just things are intensifying, you guys, and it is ramping up. Like I said, I will keep you guys up to speed here on the channel, because it feels like as we're getting closer to elections, things are just intensifying. So do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet, if you appreciate the updates, I see we got about 3,379 people on with me live. Looks like almost 3,400. Take a second, hit that like button, helps spread this out further. Just takes a second. I appreciate it if you appreciate the channel. Also hit subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? Just takes a second and you will stay up to date on everything, but make sure you stay subscribed. Apparently there's some YouTube settings unsubscribing people. Turn on the notification bell to all so you get all breaking news. And like I said, these articles linked in the description, along with additional resources for you and your family if you are interested in preparing for who knows what could be coming. A lot of people saying we're on the brink of World War III. And thank you for the support, Kim Schwintz. I see the $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate that a ton. Now, like I said, I will keep you up to speed on this. Russia and China coming together, running drills off of the coast of the United States by sea and by air, causing a lot of concern, you guys. But like I said, I'll keep you up to speed on everything. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep an eye on the channel. There's a lot happening. I'm going to have more videos coming out today. I've got a lot to report on. So stay tuned, turn on the notification bell, hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next video.